So what we want to do is get our health bar and our stamina hooked up to the variables, those player stamina and player health variables that are inside of our first-person character controller. So inside of our HUD, what we have to do is create something called a binding, and that's what binds the two. So for example, for health bar, what you want to look for is the percent field. And remember, we created those two variables. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this binding. So under my health bar here, under percent, I'm going to click binding, create binding. And you'll notice here that it gives us our get health bar %1 and a return node. Return is what makes it appear to the screen. I'm just going to hold Alt for a second and delete this execution. Don't delete the return node. What I need to do is actually get the player character. So I'm going to right click in here and type in get player character. What we need to do is we need to cast our first person character. And what that does, that actually is what creates the binding to that percentage node. So let's right click in here and I'm going to hit cast. And like I said, this is what checks if our first person character is the first person character. So cast the first person character. And if you're used to C++, you might do an integer to a float cast. So we're going to cast the first person character. I'm going to select this execution node connected here, and the object that I'm going to get the value from is this object here. And I want to keep my execution going. And then to double check if my cast fails, I also need to connect that to my return node, or you'll get a note or a weird error. Now, whatever the target or the value, notice this is the actual number that we're hooking up to our screen or return. We made an integer, so we're going to have a separate cast there. But what I want to do here is I want to get my player's health. So I'm just going to type in player health. You can see down here's all the variables that connect to my player health. And the reason these appear as well is because we got our player character. So player health here, and then it should auto cast between those. I'm going to hit compile and save. Let's jump back to designer view and do the exact same thing again. I'm going to go down to stamina for my player here. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my percentage here, go to binding, create binding. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to remove my return node, Alt and click here. And we can even do it this way, cast to first person character. And then I'm going to connect those two nodes as I mentioned before. And then we need to get the character that we plan to use. So get FPS. I'll just type in player character. That's what I did last time. So we'll get our player character, and that is the object where we want to get those values from. And then lastly, I'm going to go ahead and get my player stamina. Now, if there's no errors, we should actually compile and save this. Let me make sure this is compiled and saved too. Press play. Yeah. See, now you get our health is red and our stamina is green. Let's go ahead and hit escape here. So let's click our designer, and I'm going to just do these text elements for ammo and target eliminated next. So under weapon stats over here, you can see we have our target count and our target eliminated here, and then our ammo left and our ammo left here. Remember, we want to adjust the ones that are, that's the 30 field. So let's start with ammo left here. And next to the text field where it says 30, I'm going to create a new binding here. Okay, same sort of setup, holding Alt here. Right click, let's get our player. So we'll get our player character. Let's position this here. Cast to first person character. Our character is our object. Hook both of these guys up. Now we need to get our return value that's going to appear on the screen. And what we're going to do is get player going to grab current ammo. Oops, wrong one. Try that again. Player, current ammo, and then it should automatically cast it from an integer value to a text. So compile and save, and we're going to do the next one together too. So back to designer, target count. Next to the text field, bind. We're going to create a binding for this. I'll actually just kind of run through this because you've done it a bunch of times, but without explaining. But by the time we're going to do this a bunch more times too, with AI and stuff. So, so grab my cast to first person. You could also fast forward this video and just sort of look for where I'm doing this and pause it. Character is the object. Here we go, these two guys here. And then lastly, remember we're in our target count. So we want to get that target variable. Which is our player current ammo. Actually, am I doing it wrong? Sorry, I might be. Let's delete this. Let's go back to designer view so I can remember what variable. Target count. Ammo left target count. And I believe that variable was called target kill count. Okay. See, even with all that stuff. And then here's kind of a good way to teach you this. If you're not sure, you can just click on this. It'll take you. It says get ammo left, right? That for that binding. So one more time, let's go in here under text. There we go. There we go. Get target count. You hit the magnifying glass, it'll bring you back in here. And then I'm just going to type get player. Let's click off. I'm not sure if I made that public or not. Target kill count. It's public. Target kill. There it is. Okay, so maybe I just had to type a little bit more. So I'm going to get my kill count. Connect that return value as well. And compile and save that. And then when we jump back in, press play. It's set to the same value that we did, but if you want to, you can go in there and adjust those. And you'll see it updated in the viewport right now.